This is BBC One Southwest, now Inside Out, with Gemma Woodland.
They're the iconic symbol of Dartmoor, but they're under threat. Tonight, the controversial culinary plan to save Dartmoor's hill ponies.
Go on then, come on, hey.
It's not something any of us want to do, that if the ponies are to survive on Dartmoor, we must have a meat trade.
Would you eat it?
Yes,
Did you like it?
the burgers are lovely.
Also tonight, Helen's story. Why didn't police stop her murderous stalker?
I remember saying to them, if she's murdered, you'll spend millions.
You mustn't let it get to the state like in Helen, where an attack is made on somebody and but for the intervention of a third party, Helen would be dead.
And Nick Baker delves into Cornwall's ancient wild wood.
Fantastic, like landscape or patchwork of different things going on.
It's almost like a miniaturised sort of tropical rainforest.
I'm Gemma Woodman, and welcome to Inside Out Southwest. In some countries, horse meat is a delicacy, but for most people over here, the idea of it just doesn't bear thinking about. But what if eating a particular breed could actually help save it? Here's Anna Val.
For thousands of years, ponies have roamed across Dartmoor. But this could soon become a thing of the past. Could one way to save them be to eat them?
All the studies come back and say we must have a meat trade.
We're just not a nation of horse eaters here in the UK.
I'm on my way to the middle of Dartmoor to meet Charlotte Faulkner. Charlotte has spent her life trying to save the Dartmoor hill pony. Over the years, she's found homes for around 5,000 of them, but it's getting increasingly difficult. In the past, hill farmers used to sell their foals for a small profit every year, but the market's plummeted and so has their value.
If we don't ensure the future of the ponies on Dartmoor, Dartmoor will change forever. People won't be able to walk across it, the gorse will be too much, and the brambles and the bracken and the heather. It'll just all get completely overgrown, and we won't have Dartmoor as we know and love it.
Charlotte trains wild ponies so that they can be sold on and ridden. But there simply aren't enough customers. Selling the ponies has become almost impossible.
I think if we can't turn this around in some way within the next couple of years, you will be looking at no ponies on Dartmoor.
Some of the ponies which aren't sold end up as feed for zoo animals.
At the moment, it's just a mass slaughter. It's just awful.
And so now, as a last resort, Charlotte's decided to try and sell the meat of around 50 ponies a year as a high-quality gourmet food product. You've got to the stage now that you've decided to go down the pony meat route. That must have been incredibly difficult.
It's not something any of us want to do, but all the studies show that if the ponies are to survive on Dartmoor or in the New Forest or on Exmoor, all the studies come back and say we must have a meat trade.
But the idea of a meat trade is a controversial one.
I think people have a very special relationship with the horse. Where we are today in civilization is built on the back of the horse. Very close partnerships are formed between man and horses.
Dawn Westcott breeds Exmoor ponies in the heart of Exmoor National Park. Although a different breed, the Exmoors face similar problems to their Dartmoor cousins, with very little market for the foals. Dawn's trying not to go down the meat route.
If the moorland herd owners take responsibility for making sure they're producing the best quality animal and making every opportunity to market those animals and find them good homes, much can be achieved before we have to send them to the abattoir and put them on the restaurant menus.
As far as Dawn's concerned, however bad things get, ponies are off the menu.
I wouldn't eat a dog, I wouldn't eat a cat, and I certainly wouldn't eat a horse. A horse is as much man's best friend as a dog is, and I think we're just not a nation of horse eaters here in the UK.
Back on Dartmoor, the pony sales are drying up. It means families such as the Ables, who run a herd of nearly 150 ponies, have little means of making any money from their foals.
Consider giving them up because there's just no money in them at all. And I said, well, the reason why we keep them, my dad kept them and he's dad had a few, and it's shame to see him gone.
Charlotte's idea might just be the solution Phil's looking for. Would you eat it?
Yes. And I have had burgers before. We made our own.
Did you like it?
The burgers were lovely. They were lovely. Especially after a day at Dartmoor, we come home hungry, cold and wet. As you see, Dartmoor's like this a lot of the time. To come home to that was lovely.
Today, Charlotte's coming to collect 2 ponies as they start the journey from moor to plate.
Hiya, Phil.
Morning, Charlotte.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, and you. We got these 2 in this morning. Is this what you're looking for, is it?
They're absolutely perfect.
Is it?
Yeah, they'll be good.
Considering the winter we've had, they're looking very well.
Yeah, they are.
Don't you think?
Right. Yeah, I think they're looking good.
It's been, I know it's been mild, but they've been very wet.
Yeah.
And like I say, they'll be well fleshed up, hindquarters. I'm glad you're pleased with them.
Yeah, very pleased with them. I suppose you ought to try and load them now then.
Yeah, ought to. Go on then.
Come on, go round.
Wait. Go on then, come on. Hey. Come on then. Yeah, in you go.
That was fairly easy. Right, that's it now. I've got to go and take them, get them there before I change my mind. That's what it's all about. Okay.
I do worry, and I'd be very concerned if people weren't slightly worried about it as well, because we all do love ponies. It's not a decision that's been taken lightly by a very long chalk.
This is the Ilsington Hotel. They're one of several places helping Charlotte develop her pony meat. I've come to give sous chef Rob a hand making this slab of horse a bit more appetising.
Yeah, now just pick up a small handful, pop it in the hole up there.
That much?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a really hard sensation, isn't it? Well, I've had a few disasters. It's not as easy as it looks. Well, I'd say we have our first batch of sausages.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
So here they are.
Goodness me.
It's taken months to get to this stage, but the proof will be in the eating. It's a big moment for Charlotte and hotel owner Tim.
That's okay. Compliments to the chef, I think. Yeah, it is delicious.
How do you feel now you've tasted them?
I suppose I'm glad it tastes nice, because if it didn't, then we'd have a real job on our hands. We'd have worked all this way to get this far and not have a product at the end of it.
So on the menu, Tim?
We've got to explain it in the right way and give the reasons we're doing it. We wouldn't normally put pony on the menu, but it's being done so that we see hundreds of ponies on the moor for years to come, and the tourists come to see the ponies, and they may not want to eat them, but the reason they're there is because they're worth the farmers keeping them.
It's not just sausages being trialled. It's hoped a horse meat rissola, a dried meat that's flavoured with lots of different herbs and spices, will create some much needed extra value. Bringing a new food product to market is a long process, and Charlotte is still working on the ins and outs of the new line. But she remains determined to save this ancient breed, whatever it takes.
It's hard to believe that once nearly all of Britain, even open moorland like this, was covered in thick woodland. Today, nearly all of that has gone. But as Nick Baker's been finding out, there are still some small pockets of that rich and rare habitat in the southwest.
These are some of the very last remnants of the wildwood that once covered the UK after the Ice Age. Here, there's a rich and unique ecosystem which has evolved largely free from chemicals, pesticides and human interference. So I'm standing in the ancient woodland proper. It basically runs up and down both banks of this rather lovely little stream. But because of the unique situation here, the land either side of the woodland has been relatively undisturbed. And what's happening is the woodland is kind of moving outwards, actually colonising the entire valley. Millock Valley Woods are nestled in a remote corner of the North Cornish coast. Most of the land here is owned by the Woodland Trust. Warden Malcolm Allen looks after them. So we say ancient woodland quite a lot, but what exactly are we talking about?
An ancient woodland, by and large, is a woodland that's been continuously wooded for at least 400 years. And what that means is that the communities of plants and animals have had that undisturbed process and existence, and it makes it, gives it a greater opportunity for the species ranges to increase and to develop. And that's why ancient woodlands are so important.
And this place has lots of that, I assume?
This place is teeming with it, yes. Everything about this wood is really special.
And you really don't have to look that hard to see what he's talking about. Thanks to the diversity of habitats here, warblers like this blackcap and this whitethroat abound. But the action's not just happening in the trees. Down under the canopy, it's rush hour too. Got to watch your step. There's dung beetles everywhere. And if a door beetle isn't your cup of tea, check out the brambles that line the pathways here, and you might be lucky enough to see one of these fellas, a longhorn beetle. And it's the trees that really make a woodland. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's perfect.
And these ones are a host to some very special hangers-on.
Fantastic, like landscape or patchwork of different things going on here.
A range of species, all of them so sort of nationally, internationally important. It's almost like a miniaturised sort of tropical rainforest, absolutely.
So your eyes have lit up. So this is one of the things we're talking about that ancient woodland's been important for, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, these sort of lower plants, they don't colonise, they don't spread very quickly. You know, birds have wings, insects have wings, they can get up and fly, distances. This is a very slow process. But the valley is like this, and that's that continuity. Clear air, nice airflow, lack of disturbance and lack of felling, and this is the sort of thing that you get on so many trees around here.
So every one of these splodges of colour kind of represents a completely different species.
Yeah, it does, and then with some species,
So we've got mosses and we've got lichens.
You've got your mosses and lichens, and
this
then
this is a very spectacular lichen. This one.
Yes, that's Loberia pulmonaria.
So that's the lungwort.
That's right.
And that's because it looks a little bit, with a little bit of imagination, like the linings of someone's lung.
Yeah, this is a notable species. Yeah. And this is Loberia strabiculata.
Okay.
So a smaller, sort of less lush Loberia than the pulmonaria. and then Dagelia atlantica
this
here with
one.
this sort of, you know,
A fan,
shaped
yeah.
sort of, you know, shaped